Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and it is afternoon. I'm not going to upload this in the morning, and I'm recording at 10 a.m., so happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air with Ollie Vogt Larson. I am so pleased to be talking to you today. Man, today is pretty stacked for news. Kamala Harris has her brand new book coming out, 107 Days. I have not picked up my copy. I have, I don't know how much I want to really read it. You notice that after the election, after the moments where, like, the stakes are kind of over, these people start to get really honest. These people, at least from with the interviews that I've been watching, I watched her go on Rachel Maddow. This was literally released today. I watched her interview on The View. I watched multiple things. Good Morning America. There you go. The amount of throwing the Bidens under the bus that I am hearing from this woman is ridiculous. I want to make things clear. I voted for Kamala Harris in 2024, as I believe she was the better of the two options. This didn't mean that I believe that she was Yas Queen, gonna save us from right-wing authoritarianism, whatever. I didn't think that she was a messiah-ic figure. I thought that she was a kind of a Mr. Bean type of fellow, where it's a fail upwards sort of situation. She, in a lot of situations, was pushed forward, not entirely on the basis of her character or what she was doing or what her convictions were. It was largely on keeping people in jail for minor convictions. Honestly, she's mama fed energy. I heard that somewhere, and I love that term, mama fed. She's not against the idea of, getting things done the dirty way. She wanted to use them as firefighters, even though they were low-level drug offenders. And she understands the power of state that can be wielded over people. And I kind of like that. I'm not even going to lie. Anyways, I want to review one of my favorite moments in the entire broadcast. I'm watching the interview with Rachel Maddow, and she immediately... This is probably the moment everybody's talking about. They start to go in on her choice for vice president. My guy, Tim Walz. Listen... I want to get my opinions on Tim Walz right out there, right away. The guy's from Nebraska. He puts on this really nice, accent. It's a lot of falsehoods. It's a lot of, it's acting. I heard another one, he's just he should be ice fishing. He's got a folksy energy about him that made him appealing to a lot of people. And it was apparently more appealing than the gay energy that Pete Buttigieg was serving. Now listen here. I like Pete Buttigieg in a lot of instances. I think that he's doing the weird podcast bro scene. I don't know why he's doing that. The beard, I'm not even going to lie. I don't think that his husband likes it. I don't like it. I don't know that anybody around him likes it. I think that he's got to shave. He's got to bring back the twink energy. He's got to bring back the youth vibe. I'm not even going to lie, he looks disheveled with the beard. Anyways, besides the point. According to lovely Kamala Harris, the gay vibes were too strong with this one. He was a kryptonite for the campaign trail. In her own words, as a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up them right now. Quote, in her book, Harris admitted that Buttigieg, the former U.S. Transportation Secretary, was her, quote, first choice to join her ticket as the presidential vice candidate. Excuse me for a misspeak. Though she ultimately picked Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. This is a little confusing, and then immediately Rachel Maddow began pressing her on this, and then she goes, well, that's not what I said. What I said was, he would have been an ideal partner if he were a straight white man. But essentially, with a black woman already at the head of the ticket, I couldn't take that risk. Those are if you want to go hear it yourself, please, I insist that you do, so that you can know that I'm not lying. Her words amount to the idea that she politically jujitsu'd her way out of this homophobic accusation from Rachel Maddow. By the way, Bill O'Reilly for the left. She managed to jujitsu, and I'm impressed with this level of politicking. She was able to make it sound good that she did not pick him for the fact that he was gay. She managed to slip out. She managed to be slippy enough so that I don't think that this is going to damage her in any significant way. I don't think that there's going to be any outcry. There's not going to be any TikToks made that are like calling her out for allegedly being homophobic. And let's be honest here. If you have a black woman at the head of the ticket, what does it matter? You're already got the racial card and the woman card. You throwing on the gay card with the white man atmosphere would not have damaged you any more significantly than Tim Waltz, Mr. Dad from the Great Lakes. It doesn't sound good. I'm not even gonna lie. I totally understand her reasoning. And I get why she was like, well, look, I'm already a bit of a risk. I don't want to challenge people's point of view too much. I don't know. I think that's a little indefensible, especially when you claim the idea is we want to integrate into society. You want gay people, LGBT people comfortably in any position in life. So I don't know. It seems two-faced. It seems politician-y, which is perfectly fine. It's exactly what I expect. It's, Let's move on to another political figure who's having a little less trouble in her life. Ex-Senator Mitchell gets jail time plus work release. Now, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, this happens to be located in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. My hometown, born and raised in the Essentia building. Yes, I was raised in the Essentia building. It was great. I wasn't allowed to go outside. I had a horrific immune system. This isn't a good joke. Former Democratic State Senator Nicole Mitchell was sentenced to 6 months in jail Tuesday for breaking into her stepmother's home in the middle of the night last year, closing a case that amplified partisan divisions in Minnesota's capital. Minnesota Star Tribune. Now this lady, let's get a picture of her up actually. So if you want to join me and just take a look at this, here she is. Meteorologist and former member of the Minnesota State Senate. Jesus, I gotta work on talking right. Hey, she's the exact same age as my mom. That's crazy. She is of the Democratic Party. Now listen, when I say that I'm like, oh, she's born in Fargo, 1974. When I say that I'm liberal leaning, I mean that I vote D down the ticket. I generally believe that my beliefs towards how this world should be run generally tends to align with the left more than it does with the right. I'm not going to say that I'm a fan of everything that their party tends to do, but I will say this. I likely voted for this woman. I'm 90% sure that when the midterms were happening, when she was first elected in 2022, I'm 90% sure I voted for this woman. What's nuts is this woman's stepmother, the house that she broke into, is right next to the area I vote in. I vote at the Lutheran Church, right next to the high school in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. And that's exactly where this area went down. Let me pull up the exact address so that I make sure that I'm doing my stuff right and I'm not giving false information. I am looking at the body cam footage that has been publicly released. I will link this in the description of this video if you would like to take a look, because this is incredible footage. This lovely woman, she dressed in all black, so she came ready. She was like a cat burglar in the night. Look at her. She has literally the cat eye glasses. This woman is Catwoman. Detroit Lakes has a Catwoman, and it is former Democratic lawmaker Nicole Mitchell. She's got, by the way, I'm really glad she reconsidered the bangs. I'm sorry, they don't frame her face well. I think that she's got to do some Botox or something. I'm not trying to give her any, major opinions or anything, but she looks spooky. She doesn't have this kind of, I'm not your campaign manager. I'm not going to give you advice for how to make yourself look better. Listen, Senator Nicole Mitchell, I love you, baby, but listen, we come from the same town. Never mind, you're from Fargo, but listen, my town got you Your stepmother lived in our community, and now we got you, and now you're in jail. What I'm saying is that 6 months from now, when you get out, me and you are going to bring you back. Senator Nicole Mitchell, someone who knows her. I know that this is going to be spread around the community. I know that my voice might get somewhere. Senator Nicole Mitchell, hear me, listen to me. Right now I'm going to tell you how it's going to be okay. We are going to rejuvenate your image. We're going to get you reelected. You're going to be governor. Nicole Mitchell, we are going to use this to save you. We are going to save your image. We're going to rehabilitate you. This is just going to happen. Minnesota recently had another sad instant of political violence. If anybody else would like to think back on that, actually, I have a pretty cool story relating to it. On June 14th, 2025, Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman was assassinated in a shooting at her home in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Hortman, the leader of the State House Democratic Caucus, was killed alongside her husband, Mark. Earlier that morning, State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, were shot and seriously injured in their home in Champlin? Yep, there we go. I'm from here. I should know how to pronounce this. Anyways, it just so happens, this was 3 months ago, June 14th. I happened to be in Minneapolis at the exact time that these were. Now listen, Minnesota, please, I'm not saying that I had anything to do with it. You got the guy. You got him. You got Vance Luther Belter. I think it's Belter. Bolter. Whatever. I don't care. This gentleman, he is the only assailant. I was staying at an Airbnb in Powderhorn Park at the time. It was here, let me get this. I know the exact house. I can point it out. It's the famous Red House Airbnb. It's kind of near, I think, 34th Street, maybe? Nah, it's like on 14th Street South. So it's like around that area. I was in Minneapolis at the exact moment these shootings were happening. I'm not saying I had anything to do with them. I did not. I'm saying this actually to clear my name. This was insane. To be in, and by the way, this was a particularly hot, under-the-collar time in American politics. There was protests at the Capitols. There was No Kings protests, all of this sort of stuff. This was a heated moment in the pot, we like to call our country. And I happened to be staying in Minneapolis with my wife and her sister and that sister's spouse. We were having a great vacation. It was a great all-around time. We just so happened to be in the same city as a murderer. It was nuts. I'm not even going to lie. Minneapolis as a city has changed. If anyone would like to talk about that, we could maybe dedicate a whole damn episode to that. But Minneapolis hasn't been the same city since 2020. Overall, the vibes down there are different. You walk around the Mall of America, you don't know if anybody's going to pull out an M16. You know, it's just, there's a different energy. It's very Chicago. It's very, I remember it when I was a kid. I went down there a lot, and exactly, rose-tinted glasses. I'm sure that it wasn't as nice as I imagined it being. But the crime rates don't lie. And the buildings shuttered from the protests don't lie. The George Floyd Memorial area does not lie. The place looks like Gaza. This is not an exaggeration. That city has been changed. The DNA is different. Police occasionally don't even respond to certain instances where, I can understand if there's Congress people getting shot. They're a little busy. I understand if someone's robbing you on the train. There's not anything, we got to stop this guy from killing people. So give that guy your wallet. Knock it off. Why are you putting up such a fight? Seriously. Public transport is pretty, it's not the greatest in Minneapolis. I rode the stupid scooters where it's like they're like electronic and you gotta tie them to something because you gotta leave them. You need an app in order to make them work. What my point is that it's a corporate hellscape. It's getting an energy that I'm just saying, maybe don't move your family down there anytime. Don't come up here to northern Minnesota. Don't come up here. I don't want you. I prefer to be lonely. I prefer my solitude. But just find joy where you are. Don't go to Minneapolis unless it's for, I would say, the Mall of America, but even then, the aquarium is probably just the highlight. Otherwise, it's a big mall. Nickelodeon Universe sucks. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't ride rides. I don't do amusement parks. I'm not even gonna lie. I went to Valley Fair. Everybody knows about Valley Fair if you know anything about Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota, and I went to Valley Fair. I ended up shutting down one of the rides because I got my glasses stolen by one of those fucking waves that, like, crashes. And I was standing on a bridge with my cousins down there. And I for some dumbass reason, when the wave shot at us, turned the other way because I didn't want to get it in my nose or some shit. The wave grabs my glasses, enveloping me in water, and takes them. And then I'm, by the way, blind as shit. Because I was fat, by the way. I ate like shit. I ate Pop-Tarts every morning for breakfast. But I'm just saying, like, my vision wasn't great. It's improved a little bit as I've aged, but I couldn't see anything when I was a kid. My mom goes up to one of the employees and says, look, this kid is disabled. He's not... And the way that she fed me, the way that I looked, it kind of sold the lie. They ended up shutting down the log ride for, I can't remember, I think it was like an hour, and people were bitching. People were like, some fucking kid lost his glasses in there. It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, and I will always cherish the people who got me through it. Anyways, Valley Fair's fine. If you like Snoopy, I still have the Snoopy cup. It's probably got mold in it. I don't know. I should go to the cities again sometime soon, honestly. Like, why not? There's a lot of fun stuff. Moving on. It's a nice week to be a subscriber to iNews TV. There was a deceased female found in the river at Grand Forks, Red River. If anybody knows, the Red River is the Hudson of the Midwest. You don't want to swim in it. It's filthy, it's disgusting, and it's full of bodies. You know, anybody who knows this just knows it. Everybody has that one video where the guy was like paragliding and had that big chair with a fan on it and like a thing that was gliding over the Red River, and he slammed into the power cord. I could find that video somewhere, but the point is, it's not a safe river. I wouldn't advise anybody to eat any fish they catch in it. I wouldn't advise any of that. That's probably filthy. The Red River is probably dirtiest near Fargo. It's where the Fargo PD throw all of the bodies that they have failed to ID. This is not a factual statement. It is a joke. On the quality of the Fargo PD, I'm not even gonna lie. They don't have the greatest reputation. They're kind of scumbags. If you go to their Instagram page, what's silly is they refuse to put the one cop that actually has some fan base back on their Instagram page, Officer Twink. If you go on Instagram right now, there is a video that was uploaded approximately, I think, 3 months ago, where a gentleman was at first fixing a door. You can see his very svelte frame. And then all he does is describe something to the audience I don't even know, because I was just captivated by the fact that he was so handsome. And that's exactly what everybody else was captivated by. Nobody knows what he was talking about. Everybody is just clamoring for Officer Twink to be back. So why they have not yet made him the face of the PD, I'm confused by. Because the other fellas that they have chosen to represent them, the people that will pull you over to make their quotas, the people that will, they'll pull on you a little bit, they'll pull on your strings a little bit to try to get a response out of you, so that they can pull you in, they can bring you in for testing, and they can, they don't have to do their job the rest of the day. That's exactly what a lot of them do. I appreciate the actual people that are driving drunk that they're catching. But out of all the Midwest people, Fargo PD doesn't have the best record. I will say, I think White Earth PD kind of has it on lock. $15,000, roughly, $15,491 recently went missing from Callaway Liquor Store. If anybody knows about the little town north of Detroit Lakes called Callaway, My scumbag dad used to take me to this bar all the time because his brother Bobby worked there behind the counter. I remember going into this liquor store when I was a kid, and Mandy Jean Dwyer of Callaway, Minnesota, is facing felony theft charges. She was working, apparently, at this city-owned store in Callaway. According to court documents, on August 6th, the manager reported that his gaming till was short over $2,000. That's nuts. Okay. After they had done a little brief investigation, including looking into the cameras, Dwyer admitted to stealing the money. During many of her shifts, it's estimated that she stole upwards of $15,491. This is pretty nuts. This lady, I don't remember her. I'm going to be honest. I haven't been to that bar, admittedly, since about 2019. That was probably the last time I went in there. Because, man, it's a den. If you are looking for a drink, wait till Ogama. I'm not even going to lie. Wait till Monoman. Ogama is kind of a no-go zone. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's kind of like there's nothing to do there. Wobbin, there's a little bit. There's the Easy One Stop. They got the tremendous pizza that I mentioned. That's fine. I would say wait till Monoman. Callaway is just kind of this shit stain on the back of Detroit Lakes that nobody likes to talk about. I don't know anybody significant who comes from there or lives there. It's just it's a forgettable little spot. Not to say that Detroit Lakes is anything special. It lures people to it with a lake that gives them a swimmer's itch. I'm not saying that my town is anything special either. We just don't pretend to be. Well, we kind of do. We pretend to be like the community of artists, the community of, the mildly bohemian, the mildly artsy, even though, the majority of kids in the school don't do anything even closely related to art. The majority of the art projects that you see them do, like the snow sculptures near the lake and shit like that, that's all done by art clubs specifically that are stocked by kids who are passionate enough about art to go and do those sorts of things. But it's not an overall community of people that are deeply impassioned about art. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I was originally talking about the Fargo PD. What am I doing? Okay. Anyways, I wanted to have our last session on the show be something important, or something that I cared about quite a bit. Fargo PD has continued to not release any further statements on this matter, and I've had, quite frankly, a little bit of a frustrating time with it. This is something where I go, I don't think that this is something that we should exactly forget. You bothered to have press conferences about it when you failed to bring this person into custody. So you know what? I'm not going to let it be forgotten so quickly. On August 3rd, in Fargo, 2025, there was a shooting in the 50th block of Broadway, downtown Fargo. Literally kind of the heat of the city, that exact area, that kind of, the lifeblood of the city. Tyrque Jones. Tyrque is spelled interestingly. Tyrque. Kind of spelled like Tylenol. This gentleman is a 22-year-old homicide suspect on the run from the Fargo Police Department. He was previously convicted of a robbery charge in 2024, which he was sentenced to 45 days in jail for. This gentleman is considered armed and dangerous. This happened over a month ago. In a few days, I'm not even lying, it's the 24th of September right now. Next week, it will be a month. 2 months from when this happened. And there's no furtherance on this. There is a few press conferences where you get to watch Tim Mahoney, the mayor, and the sheriff point fingers at each other about whose responsibility it is to be more communicative to the public. By the way, they haven't been in the last few months. They've just been keeping it under wraps. Things are just a little uncomfy, and I'm not even going to lie, I want to hold your guys' feet to the fire. Fargo PD, if you're listening, next time that you're considering pulling me over for, I don't know, my tags are not always going to be up to date. I'm sorry, so sue me. Next time you feel like pulling me over for expired tags or whatever, Think about the fact that you've got gentlemen who have slain people in the streets running amok, and yet you continue to bug me for the slightest shit. If I get one more noise complaint from my neighbors, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to freak out and I'm going to move. I'm not even going to lie, because I'm refusing to deal with this police department that has clearly tried to target me. I'm just kidding. Please catch your criminals. If they are slaying people in your downtown, I don't feel like I should have to tell you, bring them into custody, because if we have these people, these gentlemen that are slaying folks, walking about the streets, what kind of message does that convey? You know what I mean? I don't go to downtown Fargo hardly ever. They got a restaurant closing every 5 minutes down there. I don't go down there anymore. There's no reason for me to. The last time I tried to go to the Toasted Frog, anybody who knows about downtown Fargo knows about the Toasted Frog. Last time I went there was in 2023. A man out front tried to harass me. He goes, what kind of money do you got? And then I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just here with my fiance. And he's like, what kind of, you ain't got a fucking penny? And I'm like, okay, I don't know. And then I handed him, a change. Because I was like, just fucking go. You know what I mean? And then he goes, are you insulting me? And I go, no, you just asked for money and then I handed you some. And then he goes, are you white, black, or brown? Now listen, my complexion is olive, pale olive in the summer because I don't go outside. I wouldn't call myself the most colored individual. But he was able to see that tiny bit of culture and go, are you white, black, or brown? And I'm not even going to lie, I didn't know how to respond. They have these intellectual geniuses walking along the streets of Fargo, and I'm supposed to just be ready for a political debate any second. He questioned my identity. It was nuts. It was awesome. It was crazy. We ended up going and eating Lunchly in the parking lot. Lunchables, excuse me. That's my experience with downtown Fargo. And I have not, in any recent time, gone down there. The last few times that I have, you see homeless people sitting outside the Fargo Theater. You see these people that are in big coats. Because, by the way, all right, and this is going to be a little controversial. Fargo, Minnesota cities in general, all of those bigger towns in the North Midwest. The reason they maintained a low homeless population and the reason that they had maintained such a cleanliness standard when it comes to that is they were able to freeze them out every winter. Some people may have issues with the way that I choose to phrase this. I'll phrase it again. We were able, before the global climate began to shift and Minnesota winters started getting, a foot of snow every year, we were able to cleanse the streets. We were able to let nature powder the streets in snow in sub-zero temperatures. And then they would realize, oh shit, I can't live here. I'm going to go to Omaha, Nebraska. They would literally move down for the winter. They would migrate like birds. And then, so you'd see some dirtier looking folk coming back up to the cities as the warmer months rolled in. But then immediately, once it started to roll around September, October, you started to see them funnel out again. You started to see them leave. That's not what we're able to do anymore because of the shifting climate. We're not able to freeze out the population. We're not able to get rid of them. And it's because listen, I'm not even going to say that we need to fix global warming. I love the climate that we're getting. If we're getting mild winters all the time, that's great. But if we're not going to be able to freeze out the homeless, what else are we going to do? Because I'm saying, there's opportunities for them. We have shelters that they choose not to go to. We have there's a lot of talk around these institutions up here. The point is we have help for these people and they continue to not take it. They continue to rather sit along the streets. They continue to remain in drug-addled communities that allow them to buy things to suffice their addictions. It is mental health conditions. It is, listen, am I saying that the freezing chill of the winter was the solution to it every year? Absolutely not. I'm saying that it is, as we are going to have to live with our homeless neighbors, We're going to have to find a way to coexist. We're going to have to figure out a way, to work with them. We're getting New York energy. You know what I mean? New York, it's always had that just hot-blooded energy where they've been able to survive all those chilly winters. But up here in Minnesota, we had a little bit of protection. We were a North Star state. We had all that. It's not happening anymore. Downtown Fargo is overrun, and it's nuts. It's wild. Tyrque Jones, ladies and gentlemen, who live in Fargo, keep an eye out. I will put a link to the Facebook post so you can get a nice, good look at his face. I would like for us to restore some level of confidence in our police anytime soon by catching this gentleman. I feel as though that would make other members of the community feel dramatically more safe. And that's all that I have to say. Tyrque, thank you so much for being my topic of discussion for today. I didn't feel like talking about Tylenol. Tylenol, Tyrque works better, you know what I mean? And Jimmy Kimmel already did the joke last night. Jimmy Kimmel was back. I watched his YouTube he uploaded. Solid, He got a little teary-eyed. He was like, I never meant to, I never meant to mock the death of a young man. I respected it. I thought that his way of coming out was great. I think that he came out swinging. Even as someone who is not generally a Jimmy Kimmel fan, I was a fan of his monologue for this episode. I thought that it was solid. I thought that it was, he was able to reach across the aisle in a way that I don't ever see people in his category do, where he mentions even Daily Wire figures like Ben Shapiro that came out and supported him. It was a good moment for him, I think. I don't know if it was the most important late-night broadcast of all time. We will continue to see how that pans out. It might have been. I don't know. I don't know anything. In the historical annals of history, where is this going to fall? I don't know. Guillermo seemed happy to be back. That's that. Goodness gracious, what time is it? All right. I think I'm going to wrap up today's episode. It was a lovely jaunt. We had a lot of fun. I'm not even going to lie. Talked about some fun stuff. Talked about some hometown funness. Talked about some of the latest happenings. I can't wait to do this once again. I had a great time. I hope that you all had a great time. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your days. Continue to go about. I will be back, I don't know when, sometime soon, hopefully. But until that next time, this has been Your Brain on Air. I have been Ollie Vogt Larson. Thank you so much for listening.